Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Toyota. Dear summer, go farther with Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. By Spectrum, it's internet, mobile, and streaming TV, all from one place. By Amazon, spend less on your kids for back to school. And by your local tri-state area Audi dealers. Pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Daniel Murphy with you today as the Mets wrap up their 10-game homestand, finishing off their series with the Miami Marlins. We're a little under 29 hours from the trading deadline tomorrow at 6 o'clock, so we don't know exactly who's going to be playing for the Mets when they play their next game in Cleveland on Tuesday night. We do know that Carson Bench and A.J. Ewing will be here. They have been the brightest spots in what's been a dark season for the Mets.
Yeah, and I'd like to start with Carson Bench. You can see each month he's gotten better, and he's coming off of July with his highest walk percentage. We saw the power in June with 5 homers, and then with A.J. Ewing in June, he had what I like an OPS plus of 140, 40% better than league average. To be able to do that as a rookie, both of them, is so very impressive. Lastly, offensively, they both steal. They'll steal bases. A.J. Ewing had 6 stolen bases last month, no caught stealings. Carson Bench, 6 stolen bases, only 1 caught stealing. Really great offensively this year for both of them.
And they both play great defense, too, both moving around the outfield a little bit as well. The Mets needed a starting pitcher today because Clay Holmes is making a rehab start for Brooklyn, maybe ahead of being traded. So Robert Stock, 36-year-old who has been everywhere. He's pitched in Korea, he's pitched in Mexico. He pitched for the Mets briefly in 2021. He had thoracic outlet surgery in March, but has made a remarkable comeback, and he is starting for the Mets this afternoon. On the mound for the Marlins, their longtime ace, Sandy Alcantara, who is back to being himself.
Well, 150 innings pitched this year. It's leading the league. In July, he had 5 starts. 4 of them went 7 innings. The 5th one, he went 6 innings pitched. He's been unbelievable this year for the Marlins. The Mets will be looking to get that pitch count up, get a lot of traffic on the base pass, see if they can split this series.
So the Mets facing the former Cy Young Award winner on the final day before the trading deadline. It's the Mets and the Marlins at Citi Field coming up on SNY. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Jake's 58, where Long Island wins. By Ford, the official truck of the Mets. Test drive their amazing lineup at your local Ford stores. And by Heineken, proud partner of the New York Mets. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. The MLB Journey to 30 sweepstakes presented by T-Mobile is the ultimate MLB fan bucket list. Visit MLB.com/Journey to 30 sweeps for your chance to win trips to all 30 ballparks. This season, get a Baja for a blast. When the Mets home run clears 420 feet, you can score a free 20-ounce Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Register now at BajaBlastHomeRuns.com to unlock the offer. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. Last game of the 10-game homestand. Mets trying to get a split with the Marlins. First pitch from Citi Field is coming right up. 1 for 3 tonight. Drove in a couple of runs. That's off the pitcher's foot. Murphy snags it. The backhand flip. And he's out. Oh, wow! The play of the year. The bank shot off Torres. Murph with the desperation flip, and somehow Torres got there for the incredible 1-3-1 putout. A play you've never seen before and may never see again. And that, in a nutshell, was Daniel Murphy. Plays you've never seen before and you'll never see again.
That one, just even to see Francoeur and his reaction, and again, we were talking about it yesterday. If there was anybody that was going to be at first base, I thought Torres was going to keep going. I actually went to flip it and forgot the ball and had to go back and dig it out. It was a big old yard sale.
It looked like you weren't even looking in the general direction.
I wasn't. In my blind spot.
Mets memories presented by Prevagen. Here's your Hyundai Miami starting lineup. Jacob Marcy, a late scratch, not traded, just lower back spasm. So that puts Esteury Ruiz in center field. Owen Casey coming off the injured list. He was out for almost a month with a calf injury. He's in there in right field. And there's Robert Stock, just the 4th start of his major league career at age 36. Liam Hicks will lead off against him. Hicks is 4 for 10 in this series. And Stock, who is now a side armor, delivers the first one outside for ball 1. Stock first came to the big leagues with the Padres, and Andy Green was his manager. And at that time, he threw over the top, and he threw close to 100. Now he's developed a cutter, which you just saw on that second pitch to Hicks. He throws from a sidearm delivery. As Robert has said, I like to keep reinventing myself.
Yeah, I think watching Robert a little bit, I follow him on the Twitter machine, and he's always looking to try to kind of recreate himself a little bit, change how his ball performs, change how it comes out of his hand to see if he can get advantage on the pitcher, or forgive me, the hitter.
In fact, Robert Stock has developed his own analytics website called Stockyard Baseball. It uses some artificial intelligence, trying to marry some of the StatCast information with some of his basic knowledge of pitching to try to predict which pitchers are going to improve, which pitchers are going to take a step backwards. It's fascinating reading. 3-1 to Hicks, with Kyle Stowers sitting second in the order today, waiting on deck. And a fastball strike. Stock came out of USC in 2009, second-round pick by the Cardinals. He's had some big league time with the Padres and the Red Sox. With the Mets in 2021, he made a couple of starts. Since then, he has bounced around. Fly ball out to left field, and A.J. Ewing drifts over and puts it away for the first out.
And here's the Mets defense brought to you by Genesis. We got Francisco Alvarez back in there for the day game catching, and Luis Robert in center field manning out there. One last chance for him to showcase himself before the trade deadline tomorrow.
I don't know how you ignored the cannon.
Carson
Bench, who throws 100 miles an hour from right field, earned the cannon.
I probably should have mentioned him. Carson Bench, man in right. The big old bazooka out there.
Here's Kyle Stowers. 2 home runs in this series, 4 for 11 in the 3 games, and he takes a changeup for ball 1. Stowers now with 16 home runs, ties him for the club lead. Knock from the extreme third base side of the rubber with that sidearm delivery. I would imagine that's going to be really hard for the right-hand hitters.
Yeah, especially on the curveballs if Robert's able to break them across the plate. I know he had some success in AAA with his changeup to left-handed hitters, and so we'll see how much he uses that this afternoon.
Goes away with a fastball, still throwing 97. Since he last pitched for the Mets, Stock has pitched in the Can-Am League for the New Jersey Jackals. He pitched for the Long Island Ducks in the Atlantic League. He pitched for the Doosan Bears in the KBO. He pitched for the Tecolotes of the Dos Laredos in the Mexican League. That's the Owls. Tecolotes. Swing and a miss, and Stowers strikes out for the second out. You know that the Owls of the Dos Laredos are the only binational baseball team in professional baseball?
bi-national?
Yes, they play both on the Texas side of the border in Laredo, and they play on the Mexican side of the border in Nuevo Laredo.
So sometimes they host and they'll be in Texas, and other games they have home games in Mexico.
That is correct. The only bi-national team, and Robert Stock pitched for them in 2024. Here's Otto Lopez, still second in the National League in batting despite going 1 for 12 in this series. Lopez at .322 for the year, trailing only Luis Ariz, who is the subject of much trade conversation. Lopez's name had come up, but the Marlins have been indicating that he is probably safe. This is a day when, if you're covering baseball, you keep your eye out for the hugs. If there's started all of a sudden or hugs happening in the dugout or the bullpen, then you know something's happened. Hopper out to Lindor, and Robert Stock has a 1-2-3 opening inning. That's come to bat in the bottom of the first, no score.
Lower
lineup, hottest hitter Tyrone Taylor sitting on the bench today. Luis Robert back in there in center field. Jorge Polanco at DH. Mets trying to get a split with the Marlins. Mets won the opening game of the series Thursday night. Marlins took the next two, and the Marlins have their ace going today. Sandy Alcantara has started the second most games in Marlins history, 193rd today. It's 4 behind Ricky Nolasco, and he's 8 innings behind Nolasco for the most innings pitched in Marlins history. His name has been bandied about in trade conversations so often, it's almost surprising he's still with the Marlins, but here he is. 2 years after Tommy John surgery. Last year he came back from Tommy John after missing all of 24. He had a very rough first half, but a great second half, and he's carried that over into this year. A.J. Ewing takes a fastball that misses, and it's 2-0. A.J. 2 for 12 in this series. Lindor and Bichette to follow. Alcantara pretty much unique among ace pitchers these days in that he has never been a big strikeout guy. He's had big strikeout games. He had a 14 strikeout game against the Mets a number of years back, but he is a guy who always relies on quick at bats, ground balls, and that gets him deep into games. And there's the first ground ball down to Stowers at first. Close play, and just got there in time to retire Ewing for the first down. Here's that 14 strikeout game for Alcantara. That came in 2021.
And you could see right here in that big strikeout game, he's able to win at the top of the zone with his fastball, and then once he gets you kind of cheating and knowing you need to respect his fastball at the top of the zone, he gets underneath you with the changeup. He really doesn't throw a whole lot of breaking balls. He's only about 15% breaking balls. The rest will be fastball changeup, so it's a lot of straight balls today. And as you mentioned, he has the capability of striking somebody out, but he's looking to get early contact, try to get deep into the game as best he can.
Which he does often enough to lead the league in innings pitched this year. Lindor's had some success against Alcantara, 10 for 33. It's a 303 clip with a couple of home runs. Francisco having a good series, 5 for 11. He's now hit in 22 straight games against the Marlins. And the backdoor cutter in for a strike, and it's 1-1. That cutter's a relatively new pitch for Sandy. Used to be basically fastball, slider, changeup. He throws a changeup that's popped up into shallow center field, and Esteury Ruiz is under it for the second out.
The Marlins defense presented to you by your Tri-State Chevy dealers, and we got Esteury Ruiz back in center field today. He was a late addition who just recorded the second out of this first inning, and we got Javier Sonoja showing off his skills, starting in right field yesterday. I think came in to play some third base, and he's starting at third base again this afternoon.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Bo Bichette. Bo is 3 for 12 in this series. Mets are going with the racing stripes for the second straight day. Tribute to the 1986 team that was honored yesterday. Today the giveaway was a 1986 replica jersey. And so the Mets are staying in that fashion. Will Salmon in The Athletic, who does such a great job covering the scene in baseball, is reporting that Freddie Peralta may be about to be dealt to the Rays. Rays and the Brewers and the Phillies and everybody else who needs a starting pitcher somehow allowed the Dodgers to trade for Tarek Skubal last night.
And a package we were talking about but before the game started that you felt like any of those teams that are looking to acquire pitchers would have been able to match.
I mean, people complain about the Dodgers and, you know, the fact that they spend a lot. But that's a case where they just wanted it more. Bichette goes down swinging, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Sandy Alcantara. No score after one. Last inning, the Dodgers' acquisition of Tarek Skubal, who they didn't need, but they wanted well enough to put together a package of 3 prospects to get him, and just adds to the Dodgers' riches, looking for their 3rd straight World Series title. And, you know, the package that they gave up, Zaire Hope is 21-year-old outfielder who could wind up being a star. River Ryan's 27. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. He had made a good impression in his first outings in the major leagues before the Tommy John in 24. And Brady Smith's a 21-year-old pitcher who's also had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I think that like I remember the Brewers, it was mentioned that they were willing to take on salary, but I think that they weren't. I think that the Dodgers ended up taking on most of the salary, and that was able to really kind of tamp down the players. Now, go ahead.
But here's the thing. If you're the Brewers or the Phillies or any other team that aspires to get to the World Series, and you know you have to go through the Dodgers, wouldn't it behoove you to outbid whatever that they're offering and put together a better package, take on, you know, we're talking about a third of the season worth of salary in order to get to the World Series?
I think absolutely I would. I would stretch myself financially to do it, and then I would also offer the package because, as you mentioned, the Dodgers don't need Tarek Skubal as much right now, it appears. Now, they have had some starting pitching issues right now. I think Blake Snell has 1 start on the season. Glasnow still looking to come back, and Shohei has some concerns as well, too. Now, they'll be trying to get those guys ramped up and going for the postseason, which is what they were able to do last year. They timed their starting pitching pretty good. But no, I thought that Milwaukee and all those teams you mentioned should have been much harder on Tarek to try to acquire him.
Lindor playing perfectly to throw out Xavier Edwards one away. I mean, the Dodgers still have Yamamoto, and they have Sasaki, and they have Wroblewski, who was an all-star this year. I mean, it's not like they need, and they have those guys coming back. Now, Tampa Bay getting Freddie Peralta, that puts Peralta in a good spot because they have 3 terrific starters in Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan, and Nick Martinez. So instead of having to be the ace as he was here, Freddie gets to be the 4th guy on that rotation.
Yeah, I think it's going to give them depth, like you said, the last 2 months, because they're fighting right now to see if they can win this division. The Dodgers have kind of put that to bed already for the NL West, that they're going to end up being the division winners, but the Rays themselves are still looking to see if they can hold on and win this AL East.
1-0 to Griffin Conine, who homered yesterday. Peralta clearly did not have his best season with the Mets, but certainly if he can pitch anywhere close to what he had done last year with the Brewers, he will be a boon for Tampa Bay. Ugly swing by Conine on that sinker. 2 balls and a strike. And then we have to wait to see what kind of package the Mets are going to get back for Peralta as a rental. Hooked in the air to right field over the head of Benji. Turns around, reaches up, and makes a brilliant catch. How did he do that? He got spun in a circle and somehow was able to locate it and make the grab. What a play.
You are absolutely right, Gary. Carson gets spun around a little bit there. Oh, to lose the ball like that in the outfield and then to basically claim it and re-find it is one of the hardest things to do in all of baseball. Be running one way, he's going right over his left shoulder, turns around, immediately finds it with his right shoulder. What a great play.
So 2 out now. Owen Casey just activated from the injured list yesterday. Well, we talked about the rookie outfielders in the open today and their offense, but their defense has opened eyes as well. That's a good changeup by Stockton. It's 0-2 to Casey, who missed 18 games with a calf injury. Oscar Brazoban getting some hugs in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like he might be on the move. A lot of pieces the Mets have available that might be departing in the next 24 hours or so. Swing and a miss, and Stock with his second strikeout fans Casey. 6 up and 6 down for Robert Stock with some help from Ben. Now we got some cheesesteaks going.
And some tunes.
Who's singing the cheesesteak song? Carson Bench leads off. Is that the chef who's singing the cheesecake song? The cheesesteak song? That is outstanding. Carson Bench leading off on the home second. So we just read the 3 names who it's reported the Mets are getting from the Rays in the Freddie Peralta deal. I'll give you a little bit on each one in a second. It's outside the bench, 2 balls and a strike. Emilian Pitre is a 23-year-old University of Kentucky product who has a .943 OPS in Double-A. That sounds good. Aiden Smith is a 22-year-old outfielder from Texas who's still an A-ball. And Gary Gill Hill is a 21-year-old right-hand pitcher from New Rochelle who went to JFK Catholic and Somers. And he is in Double-A right now. So those are the 3 players that is reported that the Mets are receiving for Freddie Peralta from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the Emilian Pitre, I mean, 940 OPS in Double-A is like, that's really productive. I have to check his age. Did you say it? I may have missed it.
Pitre is 23.
Okay.
University of Kentucky product. So it's Tampa Bay's 15th, 26th, and 27th ranked prospects. Long turn at bat for Benj, and he gets a breaking ball and flies one into right center. Coming over is Ruiz, looking through the sunglasses. 1 out. So Alcantara has retired the first 4, and now Luis Robert. Robert's 1 for 8 in this series, and the game-winning hit on Thursday night. But in 10 games since coming off the injured list, Luis is just 4 for 33. 2 of the 4 hits have been home runs. And, you know, we talked about it yesterday. The dearth of right-handed hitting in baseball makes guys like Luis Robert and Tyrone Taylor all that more valuable on the trade market. So those are the 3 players who the Mets reportedly are receiving.
Yeah, the Pitre's left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower, middle infielder. I think, and then looking at Aiden Smith right now, center fielder, outfielder, right. I'm a little bit biased, so give me the left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower.
Well, we're going to have a lot of new names to look at over the next few days. Inside to Robert. Alcantara facing the Mets for the first time this year. The Mets faced him 3 times last year, and he looked like his old self. And a 2.37 ERA in those 3 starts. And he strikes out Robert with a sinker. Second strikeout for Sandy. 2 out and nobody on. Alcantara won the Cy Young in 2022. That year he was 14-9 with a 2.28 ERA, and he threw 228 2/3 innings, which these days is like the 300 inning guys of 30 years ago.
Unheard of. I mean, was it maybe 4 or 5 pitchers I think got to the 200 inning mark last year? I know Logan Webb is usually a pretty consistent one making it, but it just kind of accruing those innings. It's less and less each season.
Well, Alcantara's likely to get to 200 this year if he stays healthy. He was at 150 2/3 coming into the day. Well, the 200 inning pitch starters have gone the way of the dodo bird.
That's it. Only 3 of them last year.
So when you have a guy who can give you that many innings on a consistent basis, he is worth his weight in gold, just in terms of saving your bullpen. Alcantara's already had 4 starts this year where he's gone at least 8 innings. His last time out against the Phillies, 7 scoreless and a 1-0 victory. 2-1 to Jared Young, who's 1 for 8 in this series. And he lifts one foul on a changeup away. Alcantara right at the top of the list in innings pitched. Sanchez pitched last night. He's having a great year. Threw 6 scoreless against the Orioles last night. And a swing and a miss, and Alcantara with the changeup strikes out Young. He's got 6 up and 6 down with 3 strikeouts. No score. We got you the cheesesteak. Now we're going to get you the vegetables. Well, yeah, you know, peppers and onions to go with the sausage.
Give me that sausage. That's what I want. I'll take the peppers.
You're going
sausage
protein
first.
all the way. Joe Mack leads off in the 3rd inning for Miami. Mack sat yesterday against the lefty, 2 for 7 with 2 RBIs in this series for the rookie catcher, who has 10 home runs in just 193 big league at bats. It's only the 3rd Marlins rookie catcher to have a double-digit home run season. First one was Charles Johnson, 1995, and then JT Realmuto in 2015. But Mack looks like he could be a real keeper. Just 23 years old. Grew up in the Buffalo area, Williamsville, New York. Stands very deep in the box. Robert Stock has retired the first 6. Stock pitched for Team Israel in the WBC, and it was while he was with them that he developed thoracic outlet syndrome. He had surgery in March, and he was back pitching again in June, which is shockingly quick. Let you look at the ground ball, and a nice snag by Young. Stock late getting there, and Mack beats him. Stock got frozen on the mound observing Jared Young, and it cost him an infield hit.
Hey, you said it, Gary. Hey, Robert looked up and kind of just a half a step late. Really good play by Jared Young. The security comes up to flip it, realizes he's not there. Yeah, if we get a chance, might be able to see Robert getting over. Just he falls off to the 3rd base side as well too. So between falling off to the 3rd base side, which isn't a problem, that's his style, but also just being half a step late, kind of getting started. Mack's able to get down the line and beat the toss.
I mean, if you are that kind of pitcher who falls off that way, like Nolan McLean is, you have to be that much more vigilant.
You got to be Johnny on the spot immediately.
There's Javier Sanoja. Bichette playing it on the grass, looking for the bunt. So Mack is the first base runner for either side. Sanoja not bunting, takes a cutter for a strike.
Here's the play at first, and you can see they get there same time, and as they're getting it at the same time, Robert's almost kind of moving away from it a little bit to prevent a coming together so they don't run into each other. He may kick himself for that. We'll see how the rest of this inning goes.
A little looper to shortstop, and Lindor catches it. I mean, Sanoa didn't really come out of the box.
No.
If Lindor wanted to play that ball off his chest,
It looked like that's what he was going through as the ball was in the air, and then at the same time you got the catcher at first base.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it. That's paying attention. Like, that's the play. Do you want to let it drop? Is it better off to have the batter that hit it get to first base or not? I dig that ball.
The trajectory also wasn't perfect, right? Because you can't just let the ball drop. The ball's going to bounce into the outfield.
Yes.
So you have to basically play it off your chest. You can't catch it and drop it. That's not an option.
Some of it is like, is it going to land in the clay? Is it going to land in the grass? Because the worst thing that happens is it lands and just kind of squirts right or left on you, and you got first and second.
Esteury Ruiz, the batter. Bichette stays in against him, one of the fastest players in the game. Ruiz, a late addition to the lineup. Jacob Marcy was scratched with back spasms. Ruiz started yesterday, went 2 for 3. He's having his best offensive season by far. Started this series with an 839 OPS, about 200 points higher than his career numbers.
375 on base percentage coming from a 264 average. Like, he's really been walking this season.
Stock throws that cutter and gets a swinging strike, 2-2. Shadows moving across the field like in waves.
Yeah, big drone.
Full count to Ruiz.
See, they gotta be clouds moving pretty fast.
Yeah. You know, things move pretty quickly around the trade deadline.
They are today. I mean, how many teams are off tomorrow? Like, this is it. The last ball game in uniform for a lot of these players.
Mack not running. Ruiz pops one up right near the bag. Mack gets out of Young's way, and Young makes the catch. Now the Mets have played a little better in July than they did in June, but not well enough to avert what is happening now, the sell-off ahead of the deadline. Pitching's been much better, but the offense continues to lag. Mets are dead last in the National League in runs per game this year, even with a better month of July.
That's what Andy Green mentioned in his press conference today before the game. The offense not swinging the bat as well. They've been pitching, but the offense hasn't been able to score enough runs for them to get a bit of stretch of good baseball and some wins together.
Liam Hicks flying out to left his first time up. And he yanks one foul on that changeup. That's a tough changeup.
Yeah,
that little parachute quality.
It does. It looks like, and the way that Robert Stock comes at you, he kind of comes at you with his whole body. He's slinging at you, and then all of a sudden he throws the changeup. Your eyes and everything say this is going to come at me hard, and then he kind of pulls, like you said, the parachute on him a little bit.
There it is again. Stock is an interesting guy because when he was growing up, he was maybe the best player in his age group in the country. At least Baseball America rated him that way, as a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old. That's lined into center field, a base hit for Hicks. And Mack's going to stop around second. The throw by Robert behind him. And he does well to get back safely. Looked like he had almost gone too far there.
Yeah, very interesting decision by Joe Mack at second base with 2 outs. It's a clean base hit up the middle by Liam Hicks, and here comes Mack rolling around second. Then he gets caught in between 2 minds, and Marcus is unable to put the tag on him before he gets back in. But I think as he went round in the bag, he thought, I don't want to make the third out at third base.
I think he picked up his third base coach frantically throwing up a stop sign.
Don't do it.
Blake Lally, third base coach for the Marlins. So 2 out and 2 on. Here's Kyle Stowers, who struck out his first time up. And he pops one foul back and out of play.
I think Blake Lally out of Gardner Webb. It's a guess, but I played against him in college. We were in the same conference. I'm pretty sure he went to Gardner Webb, and we played against each other in the Atlantic Sun.
The Bulldogs?
Are they the Bulldogs? I should know that. I believe you.
I think I once did a Gardner Webb college basketball game back when I was working in South Carolina.
Did you do it? Did you host it or did you go there?
Don't remember.
Is it Buies Creek, North Carolina? I think is what it is.
No, I think that's Campbell.
Okay, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
I got that wrong.
The
All right.
Campbell Camels.
The Campbells, I knew that.
Yeah. Gardner-Webb, I think, is in Boiling Springs, North Carolina.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
That I didn't know.
Not to be confused with Boiling Springs, South Carolina, which I've also been to. Dave confirms.
Boiling Springs?
Boiling Springs.
I should have known that. I feel like I played baseball there. We definitely would have gone there.
Just don't step in because, you know.
It's hot.
It's hot. Very hot. I mean, Warm Springs sounds, you know, comforting. Boiling Springs, not so much. Stour strikes out for a second time. Stock's got his third strikeout. No score at Citi Field. Home third inning. Mets come to bat against Sandy Alcantara, who has retired the first 6. (83°), partly cloudy skies, humid afternoon. 30-year-old Sandy Alcantara on the mound. Marcus Semien leads off. Semien's got 4 for 10 with a home run against Alcantara in his career. And he takes his first slider outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Jorge Polanco and Francisco Alvarez on deck. Semien 2 for 9 in this series. Marcus takes fastball up and away, 1-1. Among his other accomplishments this year, Alcantara has really focused on controlling the running game, something that has been a huge problem for him in the past. But if nobody gets on base, that will hardly matter.
That definitely controls the running game.
Yeah.
The Mets looking to get their first base runner here in the third inning. He hasn't. Not a whole lot of hard contact just yet. With 3 strikeouts from Sandy.
Poked the other way, and now the Mets have their first base runner. Semien went down and got that slider, and he's got the Mets' first hit.
Marcus sure did. One of the few breaking balls that Sandy throws, and he's able to shoot it over the second baseman's head. Really, you could see how Marcus just moves down, almost like he's climbing downstairs to stay in the hit. Very difficult skill to be able to go down and get a low ball and still get it up and over the infielder's heads for a base hit. That was a very clean base hit to start the inning off.
Now Jorge Polanco stuck in an 0 for 23 hole. Takes his fastball outside. So last year, Alcantara allowed 35 steals in 36 tries. This year, 12 out of 18. So he's made a huge stride. Now having Joe Mack behind the plate has helped. Semien dancing off the bag, and Alcantara steps off. Marcus has already stolen 1 base in this series, 7 for the year. Remember that last year the primary catcher for the Marlins was Agustin Ramirez, who was a terrific offensive catcher but really struggled defensively. He's now in the minor leagues, and nobody really knows what his future with this franchise is. Mack has come up and really solidified them defensively. Well, Alcantara keeps it away from Polanco with a changeup, and now it's 3-0. Francisco Alvarez waiting on deck.
You can see for the Mets on the offense right here, you're able to get Sandy in the stretch for the first time today, and he immediately goes 3-0. Really nice to get the leadoff runner on and kind of change things up a little bit, change the look.
And a 4-pitch walk to Polanco. So the Mets have the first 2 men on in the third. So now Francisco Alvarez. Alvarez all of a sudden has become a much more patient hitter. He's drawn 6 walks in his last 5 games. He's 1 for 3 in his career against Alcantara. This is a situation where Alcantara looks to roll a double play. He's gotten 11 ground ball double plays this year, facing a hitter who's grounded into 14 of them.
Well, seeing the pitch mix from Sandy, the sinker baller is a pitch that's going to be able to help get him on the ground. We know that Alvarez doesn't run so well, so he'll be looking to elevate the ball up in the zone a little bit and see if he can play against the outfielders. Hopefully, at the least, get maybe a 1st and 3rd situation on a ball driven to the outfield.
He breaks his bat and loops one out to Edwards, who lets it drop. And did they call the infield fly rule? They did. Oh, that should not have been the infield fly rule. That's a bad call, don't you think?
It didn't look like it was high enough to go infield fly. He called it immediately, but I can tell you at second base, he was scrambling for it. Edwards was scrambling for it.
I mean, that's not a pop-up. That's a looping line drive.
And here you have Alvarez breaks his bat on one of those sinkers running in off the plate. And here. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there's Edwards. You're never sure exactly how the ball is going to respond when it hits it. And, you know, he goes to go at it with one hand right here and doesn't get it secured in his glove. Now he's juggling it around in a full panic, but it ends up getting bailed out by the umpire at second base.
Would have been very interesting had they not called the infield fly rule to see whether they could have gotten the double play. For the uninitiated, the infield fly rule is designed to protect the offensive team. It only is called with runners at 1st and 2nd or bases loaded and less than 2 out to prevent exactly what we just saw, an infielder letting a ball drop and then getting himself an easy double play. But generally, what's considered a pop-up is higher than what the trajectory of that ball was.
Like that. Well, and then Alvarez isn't running. He must not have seen second base umpire Brennan Miller go infield fly. There's Ben May at first saying if the ball's getting kicked around, he's saying it's an infield fly. But I'm with you, Gary. In real time, I thought you would play it live.
A.J. Ewing grounded out to the first baseman his first time. And he takes a sinker down, and Mac's going to challenge the ball call right near the bottom of the zone. And it is a strike. So it turns 2-1 into 1-2. Simeon at second, Polanco at first with 1 out. And Ewing takes fastball outside, 99 from Alcantara.
Sandy's misses have been pretty big this inning so far. The 4-pitch walk to Polanco. Some of these misses to A.J. Ewing have been pretty far off the plate, almost like the ball's just really taken off and running more glove side than he wants to, not able to control it.
2-2. Punch to short, should be 2. Lopez going to run to the bag, and he does not turn the double play. That was a long way to run to second base. Otto Lopez choosing not to make the flip to Edwards, and that might have cost him 2. So it's 6 unassisted for the second out.
Yeah, here goes Lopez. You feel like he's going to flip it to Edwards and see if they can go 6-4-3, but he chooses to try to go 6-3 unassisted, or 6-3 for the double play. And AJ getting down the line. And obviously the Marlins think he's safe, but getting down the line will give Francisco Lindor an opportunity here with the hole open and 2 outs.
It's been a strange inning in the field.
Yeah, that was had to be 5 steps. It felt like it.
Yeah.
As soon as he took off, it never felt like he was going to turn the double play.
It was close, but Ewing just too fast. So the inning continues for Lindor, who flied out to center his first time up. Semien now at third and Ewing at first. AJ dancing off the bag but not going, and Lindor swings and misses at a first pitch cutter, 0-1.
They cutter for Sandy's an interesting pitch because it's about 7 or 8 miles per hour off of his fastball as he's still learning it. So it almost will be perceived by the batter sometimes as a breaking ball. That's what Francisco did right there.
Dora tries to hold up, but he went around on a high fastball, and it's 0-2. That's with their first opportunity of the day. 1st and 3rd and 2 out. Ewing dancing but not going, and the 100-mile-an-hour fastball misses. A ball and 2 strikes. Alcantara had his Cy Young season in 22, and then he really struggled in 23. Don't know if he was already hurt but there was so much speculation about him being traded, so you think that might have weighed on his mind. That's pulled down to first and handled by Stowers. Then he had the Tommy John after the 23 season. Didn't come back till last year. No score after 3. Fourth inning, no score. Robert Stock, so far so good, facing Otto Lopez. Right between innings, Steve Gelb's caught up with Mets manager Andy Green.
Andy, a lot of reports about Peralta being traded. We saw Brazoban giving some hugs. Anything you could shed light on for us with those two?
Not right now. Nothing I can give you focused on this game here right now.
What is the biggest challenge as a manager navigating these days with all that's going on around you?
I think the hardest thing to do is handle the bullpen. If somebody gets pulled from being able to be used in the middle of the game, you can't prepare for that one. Right now, we expect to go out and do everything we can to win this game.
All right, as for the people that are definitely still here, Carson Bench, another spectacular catch in the 2nd inning. You've been with him since the beginning in his development out there. What is it that stands out about what he's been able to do defensively this year?
Yeah, he gets better and better. He's got a lot of confidence out there. Nothing really rattles him. Outstanding athletes, made a ton of nice diving catches for us.
All right, Andy, thanks so much for the time. Good luck.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Stephen. Thank you to Andy. It's always a difficult situation for a manager, not just in terms of the personnel, but also managing everybody's emotions on a day when so many people are at the edge of their seats.
Yeah, I saw Freddie Peralta coming out to throw pregame today, and he passed by Andy Green, who was hanging out here before the game, and they were talking a little bit and joking. And it's like what you said, is this expectation that Freddie's not going to be here much longer, but at the same time, you still want the entire group to get ready. I think Andy's done a nice job of getting the guys ready, focused on what you can, which is today's game, and more specifically, winning this pitch.
Well, Peralta's already been traded. Brazoban has shaken hands in the bullpen as Lopez drills one to left, but moving over is Ewing to make the catch, 1 out. And meanwhile, in Brooklyn, Clay Holmes has begun his rehab start, so he hasn't been traded. I don't know exactly how far extension talks got between the Mets and Holmes, whether they were initiated or snagged or whatever, but based on what Clay Holmes did last year and the first part of this year, it'd be great to see him stick around.
Yeah, I think, and as you were saying, when we didn't get much information about what maybe the ask was, the most information we got was that Clay had a desire to want to stay here and discuss an extension. And you were talking about how good he's been over the last kind of year and 2 months before he got hurt. I would have been hopeful that they would have been able to try to extend him as well, too.
Bichette has trouble finding it, but still throws out Edwards. Quite a recovery by Bichette for the 2nd out. No panic.
No, he stays with it. As you can see, hot shot. These are some of the toughest ones when it comes from an opposite hand batter to you, whether like this situation. Ooh, left-hander to third base. And Bo, I think, thought that the ball as it popped up was just going to land right in his pocket and ended up going all the way to the ground. But he's still able to get the ball and fired across the diamond for the 2nd out.
Another good call by Ben May at first base. It was a bang-bang play. Griffin Conine takes a strike. Conine hit one over the head of Bench, who somehow spun around a circle and 3 dots and was able to catch the ball, reaching high up over his head. Conine's been a red-hot hitter since coming back from the injured list. He was out with a hamstring injury for a couple of months, ended a home run yesterday.
breaking ball in the middle of the plate, up in the zone, and he hits. It looks like a big old high driver draw in golf. Pitch clock violation.
Pitch clock violation against the hitter Conine for not being ready, and that's strike 3. So Robert Stock gets through 4 scoreless innings, matching the longest outing of his major league career. Still no score. Sunday, perfect day for showing you some of the youngsters and their baseball and softball modes. Hello to the Pirates from Farmingdale. Got that flat bat.
Yes, he does.
Ooh, the sparkle. They're ready to slap and run. Down on Staten Island. There are your Orioles from Hicksville. And there are some of the youngsters who made their way to this game. Yeah, the Condors.
Condors.
3 kids from the Condors. Here's Bo Bichette leading off the home 4th, and he takes a curveball for a strike from Alcantara. Bichette struck out his first time up. Benj and Robert to follow. It's an opportunity against Alcantara in the 3rd. A single by Semien, a walk to Polanco, but he got out of it. Let's check in with Steve.
So, guys, the other night we saw Bo Bichette come up to the plate without that C-flap on. He had gotten frustrated after an at-bat and smashed his helmet and looked like it fell off. And we did some investigating because, they have extra equipment everywhere. Turns out the reason that he did not get the new C-flap in time is that he was unaware, as he strikes out here, that the C-flap had fallen off. And when he went to get his helmet for his next at-bat, that was when he realized that it was hanging off and did not have time to make the change.
Next day, everything was copacetic. C-flap reattached. C+.
Yeah, so Bo got in the on-deck circle, realized his C-flap was gone, and decided, I've gone too far. I can't go back now, so I'll just take it old school style without the flap.
There's Carson Benj. Now, you never wore a C-flap.
I didn't. I couldn't. I practiced with one in spring training a little bit, not swinging, but just wearing it, and I kept looking at the C-flap, so I would stop staring at the pitcher. I was just looking down at it. It was the same thing why I couldn't wear sunglasses. I would just look at the nose bridge the whole time instead of picking up the ball.
Of course, there was a time when they didn't even have ear flaps on helmets.
Like Mex, like Keith.
And there was a time before that when there were no helmets at all.
When real men played, like Lefty O'Doul.
Ralph Kiner was really one of the great proponents of the helmet in baseball when he came up in the 1950s. There was a short period of time where some of the catchers, and I think some of the hitters too, would wear an insert, a plastic insert inside their cap.
Yeah, okay.
Which provided them with some
protection.
level of protection. Of course, that was at a time when pitchers were unafraid of, throwing at your noggin.
Yeah, it used to be the old knockdown pitch, go head hunting. They used to do that to rookies. They said they would see if they were plate shy, and so they throw the first couple up and in and see whether or not they step in the bucket.
3-2 to Benj, who flied out to center his first time up.
So, guys, one of the problems with Hug Watch is that you don't always know if they're hugging hello or hugging goodbye. Turns out Brazoban was hugging hello. I have been told that, at least as of now, Brazoban has not been traded. So he is still a member of the Mets. Not saying that can't change in the next 24 hours, but right now, Huascar Brazoban has not been traded.
Well, the other problem with Hug Watch, Steve, is that you have the Hug Deek, because everybody in baseball knows that we're on Hug Watch.
Yeah, that all the cameras are paying attention and trying to see who's on the move, if we can get a jump on them. Well, you mentioned it before the game today. Make sure that the cameras are on Hug Watch as best we can.
Murph, as a player, you ever think about faking guys out, just giving extra hugs?
I didn't, but I think that if you're going to, you get like a bullpen guy that's got a little bit too much time on his hand. I mean, that's, they work every couple of days, and for like an inning or two. So they've got probably the most time to do it. Starting pitchers might get you as well. They got plenty of time to think about tricks like that.
Ninth pitch to Bench. Well, I mean, going a little deeper on that subject, now that, you know, you're a member of the media, was there ever a time as a player that you did something to fake out the media?
To fake out the media? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
You were very straightforward.
I was definitely more, as Carson wins this walk right here. I was more prickly with the media and needed to learn how to be and understand and respect the media in a way that they deserved. But I would be short with them. But as far as kind of premeditated tricking, I don't really have any premeditated tricks up my sleeve.
Save those for your teammates.
Yeah, well, depending on how they come at you, maybe you end up when your car ends up on the field in spring training, you have to defend yourself.
Well, that reminds me of the old Derek Bell gag when he was a rookie with the Blue Jays, and they staged a giveaway of his truck, which was driven onto the field. And there's a great video of him in the dugout reacting to thinking his truck was being given away.
It's my truck. I'm going to get out of here. But Jeff Francoeur did the same thing to my poor Honda Civic in my first year in big league camp.
0-2 to Luis Robert after Bench drew a 10-pitch walk. Second one given up by Alcantara. And a swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup. Second time Robert's been struck out. That's 5 on the afternoon for Sandy Alcantara.
And Sandy today's got some real arm side one. You can see the run on it. You see the changeup come out of his hand and just keeps bearing down in on Luis Robert, and he's unable to get a piece of it and at least foul it off. That low spinner, kind of top to bottom sort of sinker changeup, and Sandy's got real good feel for it today across the plate.
And a close play at first. Alcantara does not have a pickoff this year, 5 in his career. Bench had a huge lead and just barely got back.
Yeah, I think it's just as he had popped off, if he was going to try to get a running start to second base, that's about the time that Alcantara picked over.
Carson has 17 steals, including 1 in this series. Only been caught 3 times. Long hold by Alcantara to try and freeze him, and then he throws over a second time. Well, for as great as Sandy Alcantara has been, he has a losing record because he's generally played for not very good teams in Miami. This is his 193rd career start, and he steps off, and that's a balk. The third disengagement. See, when he held the ball before that second pickoff throw, that was enough to keep the runner flat-footed.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he wasted that throw to first base.
Because the second pickoff, that Carson wasn't going anywhere, and then on this one, you know, he gets baited right here. Carson's getting out there trying to get him to pick off.
And I would imagine that it's hard for pitchers to remember sometimes that they can't step off in that spin.
We've gone so long that, like, I wonder as well too, I couldn't hear it from up here, if he might have heard like a little bit of a step off. He might have gotten hung out to dry a little bit by a teammate. But any other time you ever hear step off, or you can sense him out of, you could just step and shut the whole operation down. But now with only the 2 disengagements, you know, runner in scoring position with 2 outs now.
Second balk of the year for Alcantara, the 8th of his career. Ball and a strike to Young. Young struck out his first time up. Cutter misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody up in the Mets bullpen, so it looks like Robert Stock is going back out there for the 5th, looking for the longest outing of his major league career. 3 balls and a strike to Young. Most pitches that Stock threw in a minor league game this year was 66. He's at 57 right now. That's called up another pitcher as well today, Bryce Conley, who's been a starter in the minors, so he'll probably be piggybacking with Stock today. Young bounces one toward the hole, cut off by Stowers, and he takes it to the bag to retire the side. After 4 at Citi Field, Mets and Marlins, no score. Fans at the game against the Padres on Monday, August 17th will get a Bo Bichette bobblehead, compliments of Hyundai. For tickets, go to Mets.com/tickets. 5th inning, Robert Stock still out there for the Mets. Owen Casey leads off for the Marlins. Casey struck out his first time up. So this is the 3rd time in his big league career that Stock has thrown as many as 4 innings, and they've all come on this mound. He did it as a Met in 2021 against the Brewers. It's looped into shallow center. On comes Robert to get it, 1 out. He went 4 innings against the Mets as a Cub later in that 2021 season, and now back with the Mets. This is now the longest outing of his career at 4 1/3.
The 13 outs just reached a record, all in this mound.
I mean, he has worked so hard to be at this point at age 36, 17 years after he was drafted out of USC by the Cardinals. Joe Mack had an infield hit when Stock was late covering at first in the 3rd inning.
Well, you mentioned his career and how hard he's worked over the course of it, and then also the thoracic outlet syndrome happened just in March, and here he is out here, you know, going 4+ innings on a major league mound, no more than a few months removed from that.
He's been with 8 different organizations. He's pitched an independent ball in the Can-Am League and the Atlantic League. He's pitched in Korea. He's pitched in Mexico. And now back in the big leagues, where opportunity sometimes knocks unexpectedly. Right? You got a Mets team that is paring down at the deadline, and there are opportunities for guys to make their mark, and it's not just kids. Sometimes it's guys who are still out there plugging at a time when a lot of guys would have given up.
Yeah, you can see from Freddie Peralta getting traded earlier this game that, like, there's going to be innings available. You know, he comes out here, he's throwing up zeros, is Robert, and he'll be hoping that he can find a way either into this starting rotation or as possibly a long man in the bullpen.
I mean, who knows? Who knows how many pieces are going to be moved between now and 6 o'clock tomorrow? Already Peralta is gone. Minter is gone.
Feel like Brooks Raley will be on the move before tomorrow's deadline.
I mean, Holmes is a possibility. Weaver's a possibility. Brazoban's a possibility. There's so many of these pitchers who the Mets might be moving between now and tomorrow. 3-2 to Mack with Javier Sanoja on deck. Mets will be in Cleveland on Tuesday night. Sean Manaea will open that series against Joey Cantillo. Guardians are up 2-0 on the Diamondbacks in the 5th. 5 hitless innings for their ace Gavin Williams so far today. The Mets will be fortunate enough to miss Williams in the series in Cleveland. Mack flies one out to deep right center. Back goes Robert to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here. Joe Mack with his 11th home run of the year breaks the scoring. And the Marlins go in front 1-0. 11 home runs and just 195 at bats for the rookie catcher.
Impressive from the catching position as well when you get offense like that from your backstop. And Joey Mack gets a breaking ball here that, you know, Stock's just trying to kind of maybe a cutter, something spinning that he's wanting to land in the zone 3-2. He just takes it about the deepest part of the ballpark out there by this Hubo spot Delta sign to give the Marlins a 1-0 lead. Just kind of kept going with that spin built into it in this warm day.
Sanoja plunks one in the shallow right. On comes Bench to make the running catch. And there are 2 out. So Stock has now thrown 67 pitches, which is 1 more than he had in any minor league start this year. Most pitches he's ever thrown in a major league game is 79, but that's been a while. He had 2 big league appearances with the Red Sox last year in relief. There's Esteury Ruiz, who popped up his first time up. And he swings and misses at a first pitch sinker, 0-1.
Yeah, look at this. You got a movie tonight. Let's Party with the Fighting Fish. Is that like a box office kind of? There's all sorts of gimmicks now.
You know what the best gimmick would be? No gimmick.
Yeah, slap hands.
Right, then you could, you could claim that for your own. Oh, 2 to Ruiz, and he flies one out to left field. Ewing has to hustle back in the gap, and he gets there to make the catch to retire the side. Max home run breaks the scoring ice. 1-0 in the 5th. Home 5th inning, Marcus Semien leads off against Sandy Alcantara, who has been staked to a 1-0 lead. Semien has the Mets' only hit today, a bloop single to right in the 3rd. Semien, Polanco, and Alvarez, the lower third of the order against Alcantara, who has walked 2 and struck out 5. 4 scoreless innings today after 7 scoreless in his last start against the Phillies. And Semien pops one up in his shallow right. Casey shading his eyes, having a little trouble with it, but stays with it for the out. Around the Majors presented by MSK. You know about Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers for 3 prospects. The Mariners traded from their starting pitching surplus and sent Luis Castillo to the White Sox. They got back a pretty good reliever in Sir Anthony Dominguez, a utility guy Nolan Jones, and a minor leaguer. Pirates took a big blow with Ryan O'Hearn going out with a quad strain, and you know about Harrison Bader. The Giants are also withholding his salary.
Yeah.
He crashed his scooter into a fire truck.
That foul ball wasn't too far away from us, and yeah, I saw where the Giants aren't going to pay Harrison Bader until he can perform baseball activities. It's interesting times right now with CBA up this year and the negotiations going on, and not paying someone's salary is unusual.
Well, there are certain banned activities in the standard baseball contract, like skiing and skydiving. I don't know if riding your scooter into a fire truck is in the contract.
It would appear that the Giants want to find out as they withhold his payment right now.
I'm sure the players union will be all over that. Jorge Polanco walked on 4 pitches his first time up. And Joe Mack needs a conversation with Alcantara, who does not look all that thrilled to see him.
Yeah, he looks a little bit confused.
He didn't see, did he need to go out there to save him from the pitch clock? Brooks Raley up in the Mets bullpen, so it appears that Brooks has not yet been traded. After his performance the other night, he spoke like a man who thought he had made his last appearance as a Met, but Brooks is up and getting ready behind Robert Stock, who really did a fabulous job over his 5 innings.
It was really great work from Robert Stock to go from thoracic outlet syndrome, rehabbing in the minor leagues, pitches about 20 innings there to come up into the big leagues and set a career high in how many outs he gets, give the Mets a chance to win.
Probably not the best emergency start of the weekend, though. Did you see what Martin Perez did for the Braves last night?
I missed it.
Reynaldo Lopez got scratched an hour before the game. Ground ball down to first, and Stowers had taken himself to retire Polanco. So Reynaldo Lopez scratched an hour before the game. Martin Perez is taking a nap in the clubhouse, and the general manager comes racing in and saying, "Lopez can't go. We need you to start." He goes out there and holds the Nats, the best offensive team in baseball, without a hit for the first 6 2/3.
Oh, sometimes you just get surprised like that. You don't let it build up on you and let the anxiety levels get too high. You just go out and kind of do it. It can be a little bit better that way.
He said it was the best game of his career, and he's had a very long career.
Yes.
Maybe they just need to use that as a game plan going forward.
Yeah, just start surprising all these pitchers.
Wake Martin up an hour before the game and tell him to go.
Why do they need to know it's coming? I mean, just surprise you a little bit.
Francisco Alvarez hit a broken bat pop up his first time up.
The old story from like John McGraw is he would go around and kind of ask his pitchers, "You ready to work today?" And so it wasn't built out like, necessarily 3-4 days in advance. You just go and sometimes ask them, "You want to work today?"
And what if they said no?
I don't think he got a whole lot of no's.
Well, that's the thing.
maybe he asked the right guys.
Alvarez to right center field. That's down for a base hit, and it'll roll back to the wall. Alvarez hustling towards second, and he's in standing with a 2-out double. 9th double of the year for Francisco, and the Mets' second hit of the day.
Yeah, it looks like Alcantara's trying to throw a four-seamer away, ends up leaving it in the middle, and Francisco covers it the whole way. Is able to drive it in the right center field gap. Really like to see him take advantage of this middle fastball that Alcantara was unable to get away from him and drive a 2-out double, get in scoring position here and see if the Mets can tie it up with A.J. Ewing coming to the plate.
Ewing is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground twice today. Alcantara about to throw his 80th pitch of the day in the 5th inning. And it's popped up on the right side. Should be playable. Mack is under it. And he's got it. And Alcantara works around the double in the 5th. 1-0 Marlins after 5. Ball presented by Toyota is back, looking to support local youth football leagues. If you know a league in need, apply today at sny.tv/playball. Well, after Robert Stock gave the Mets 5 terrific innings in his first big league outing of the season, that's a go to their bullpen in the 6th with the Marlins up 1-0. And Brooks Raley, who we thought had made his last appearance in the first game of this series, got 5 outs for the first time this season and got the win. Now he's back for another appearance on the last day before the deadline. Liam Hicks takes his first sweeper outside for ball 1.
Yeah, he was speaking in the past tense after his last outing, and now he's presently pitching.
Well, Stock has everything to be proud of today. We've talked a lot about how he has reinvented himself and how he has delved deep into the analytics. In fact, creating his own website to help out pitchers and predict the risers and fallers among pitchers based on their stuff. Well, he studied well enough to turn in 5 terrific innings today, his longest outing ever in the big leagues. Young ranges wide. Raleigh gets over to cover. Hicks retired, 1 away. Kyle Stowers comes up. He's already gone deep twice in this series.
Yeah, the first one Thursday night. Ooh, just a little. Looks like Nolan gets a fastball a little bit closer to him than he wants, and this one pretty sure is an overhand breaking ball that he takes on full carry into the bullpen. 2 almost completely different homers other than being pulled. One was a low bullet down the line. The other one was kind of a high, majestic sort of rainbow into the bullpen area.
He hasn't hit very well against lefties this year, but he did have a solid single against Zach Thornton yesterday. Gets one off the fists, a foul ball, and a first pitch sinker, 0-1. Stock went 5 innings, allowed 1 run, 3 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, a home run, 70 pitches. And Stowers pops one up right near third base. And Bichette one-hands it, 2 out. So watching Stowers against the left-hander, as a lefty hitter, what's the most important thing to remember facing a lefty pitcher?
The biggest thing is to get a good pitch to hit, and then more fundamentally how you do that from that Stowers at bat. Brooks Raley did a great job of running the first fastball way in off the plate, and so now the guys that can really go left and run it in, those are the toughest ones. And then he starts it off a similar tunnel and breaks it away from him the other way. And so now Stowers is thinking, I've got to kind of open up a little bit, and ends up missing now the breaking ball off the end of the bat because, you know, you have to respect the fastball coming in off the plate on you as well. And so, you know, you're talking about Brooks, like Brooks is able to go in 2 different directions, and that makes it so very difficult for the batter.
Lindor throws out Lopez in a very quick inning for Raley. He sets him down on 8 pitches. Home sixth inning, Francisco Lindor leads off against Sandy Alcantara, who's thrown 80 pitches through 5 innings. Lindor has flied out and grounded out. He fouls one back. Alcantara threw at least 6 innings in all 5 of his July starts, and he went at least 7 innings in 4 of those 5 starts, and wouldn't bet against him doing it again today.
It's a huge month worth of work. I mean, to go and grab 7 innings, 21 outs 4 times in July, the bullpen guys are going to absolutely love you, and that gets them in a position to really sprint hard in some of those other games for some of the other starting pitchers who don't go as deep into the game as Sandy does.
Lindor's foul ball going off the mask of Joe Mack, so plate umpire Chris Conroy giving him a moment. Lindor, Bichette, and Benj for the Mets in the 6th. Mets made a series of moves today. Robert Stock called up. That was one move. The other move was calling up a pitcher named Bryce Conley, who was a 31-year-old who's never pitched in the big leagues. Popped up in foul ground. Sanoja comes over and gets it, 1 out. And to make room, the Mets DFA'd Kevin Herget, who made his season debut last night, and they sent Jonathan Pintaro back down. They needed to make space on the 40-man roster, so they designated for assignment MJ Melendez, who was with the Mets earlier this year. Speaking of DFAs, earlier this week, the Cubs DFA'd Jamison Tyone, and he today was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. Luke Weaver is up in the Mets bullpen. Looks like he's getting ready for the 7th. There's Bo Bichette, who has struck out twice. Well, Brooks Raley just threw an 8-pitch 1-2-3 inning in what certainly could be his last outing as a Met. I'm telling you what, he's 38 years old, but based on what we've seen in a year and a half coming back from Tommy John surgery,
extension candidate. You mentioned it.
I would seriously consider signing him for a couple of years.
Make him and Clay Holmes a package. Extensions.
I mean, he doesn't rely on throwing 95. He's got 4 pitches that he can move in and out. Hits the corners with all of them.
Productive in New York. It's not the easiest thing to do here. You know the ball club wants to compete again next year, so you'll be looking for someone like him or him on the open market as we get there.
Pulled down to third and handled by Sanoja. Well, the answer that always gets given to that question is, well, you know, you can trade him and then you can re-sign him after the season. But how often does that actually happen?
It doesn't happen very often, and I can only speak from my personal experience. Not that that's ever happened, but I would feel slighted if I said I wanted to be a part of the organization and we were unable to come to an extension, minding that it was a reasonable extension that I was trying to sign, and then go out to the free agent market. I mean, what are the examples? Is it like Aroldis Chapman? Did he do that? He got traded from the what, to the Yankees?
Right.
Yeah, he ended up in the Yankees.
Traded for Gleyber Torres, right?
Was it?
And then he ended up re-signing with the Yankees after that. Helped the Cubs win a World Series. Worked for everybody. 1-1 to Benj. 2 out and nobody on, and Carson hits one out to center field, and right there waiting for it is Ruiz. And so Alcantara threw 6 for his 6th consecutive start. 1-0. At Citi Field, Mets down 1-0. We mentioned this earlier, the Derek Bell 1992 prank. That was his truck that they drove onto the field saying that it was going to be a giveaway. Joe Carter was driving the truck.
Yeah.
Bell was a 23-year-old rookie at the time, and he was convinced that they were giving away his truck.
The Green Goblin was on the move. At least mine was in spring training. They did his during a regular season game.
You know, Derek played for the Mets in 2000, and he was a unique character, man. He He lived on a boat in the World's Fair Marina during the season.
Oh, did he really?
And they bicycled to the ballpark every day. Luke Weaver on to pitch in the 7th inning.
So I guess he would have rented the boat, or did he purchase his own?
Drilled to right, Bench over, and makes another beautiful catch. Full extension. Carson Bench making like Spider-Man, his second outstanding catch of the game. This one robbing Xavier Edwards.
Yeah, here Carson going into the right field corner, and you can see, for all you kids at home, he's running down with the glove by his side, and then at the last moment he goes full extension to stretch, as Gary said, to record the out. This ball is a hammer, and it's got extra bases written all over it. He's going at it like a wide receiver, and then at the very end he's able to get it at the tip of his glove to get the first out of the inning recorded.
One hard out for Weaver, and here is Griffin Conine, who with the first ball that Bench made a spectacular play on. Weaver has been the most interesting of the trade candidates for the Mets, in that he is having a fabulous season and he is signed for next year, which makes him more valuable to a team trading for him because he's under control. Same thing with Huascar Brazoban, but Weaver might be the best available reliever on the market.
Yeah. You look how big that Carson's glove is, and he uses all of it to be able to snag that ball right at the very end of his pocket. Those outfielders use a little bit bigger gloves because they don't necessarily have to get the ball out of there as quickly as an infielder will.
And there's a strikeout for Weaver as he gets Conine on 3 pitches.
And I think, to your point about Luke Weaver, he'd be the one that'd be the most valuable for this season. Huascar's got another, I think, what, probably 4 years of Major League, 3 years of Major League control. I think for this year in a pennant race, not that Huascar wouldn't help you, but with the way that Lucas pitched, you know, last year in New York, this year in New York, you'd really trust him down the stretch in some high leverage inning situations.
And of course, Weaver's a lot younger than Brazoban. Brazoban's 36 and has found his niche late in his career, whereas Weaver has had a lot more success over the course of his career and is having his best season right now. Owen Casey 0 for 2 in his return from the injured list, and he goes after that changeup. It's been a devastating change all year for Weaver, and it's 1-1. Owen Casey from Burlington, Ontario, one of 2 Canadians in the starting lineup for the Marlins. Liam Hicks, the other one, both from the Toronto area. Casey was traded twice after being drafted by the Padres.
Catcher's challenging the ball call.
Alvarez challenging the ball 3 call. And it is a strike, so 3-1 turns into 2-2. So Casey was traded twice. First time was for you, Darvish, going from San Diego to Chicago, and then for Edward Cabrera last winter, which is what got him here. He was considered one of the Cubs' top prospects. Two from Weaver. And it's lifted out to left, and Ewing has it measured. So Luke Weaver turns in a 1-2-3 inning. Still 1-0 Miami. A couple of years, Miguel Cabrera will be eligible for the Hall of Fame, and he will be a first ballot cinch. Started out his career as a Marlin as a 20-year-old in 2003, won a World Series in his first year. Can you believe he played shortstop some for those 2003 Marlins?
I remember him at third base and how skinny he was when he first got called up, and long.
4-time batting champion, Triple Crown winner, 306 lifetime average, 511 home runs. One of the great players of his generation. And it raises the question, so in this century, among right-hand hitters, there's Miguel Cabrera and maybe 2 others.
Aaron Judge. I mean, so far, like Aaron doesn't have the number of at-bats that Miguel has, but I mean, Aaron put up Babe Ruth type seasons. I mean, over 200 OPS plus. Like what he's been able to do when he's healthy it's Ruthian, and to do it as a right-hander is. And then I got Pujols, Trout, Manny Ramirez. Like these are some of our usual suspects of just absolute killers from the right side of the plate.
I mean, so far, if you factor in the entire game, Trout's probably at the top of that list. Right?
I think because of the number of at-bats he has now, his kind of OPS plus, which I like because it measures you against your peers, has gone down in the last couple of years.
Right.
I think it is height. Mike was at about 172 OPS plus, which put him in Mickey Mantle's territory, Rogers Hornsby. I think Aaron Judge, I checked him today, he's probably up in like the 176, 177 range. Again, not quite as many plate appearances. I think 99 is probably about 5,000 plate appearances or so.
I mean, if Judge is able to put up a few more years the way he has, I think that he probably goes to the top of that list. But Pujols and Trout, for the entirety of their careers,
some of it is like the counting stats. I go back and look up at Pujols. Like I think he was 140 OPS plus, which is unbelievable. But to be able to do it for such a long period of time, staying available is a real skill. And to be able to do it for 20 plus years, now you're just stacking up counting stat after counting stat.
Well, the other thing that the advantage that Cabrera and Pujols and Trout all had over Judge is they came up at a much younger age.
Got to the big leagues very early.
They all came
like 20, 19, 20,
21. Whereas Judge really didn't hit the ground running till he was, what, 26?
That's what, yeah.
Because, you know, for part of that is he went to college, as Robert dumps one into right center for a base hit leading off the 7th inning. And the Mets have their 3rd hit of the game.
Yeah, Luis Robert right here looks like he gets a fastball all over the plate, and not too dissimilar from what Bo Bichette was able to do and be able to drop one into right field to lead an inning off. Kind of crowded him a little bit, got it off the hands, but was strong enough to be able to just drive it and push it into right field for a base hit.
Marlins will get their bullpen up now. Jared Young is struck out and grounded out. Alcantara misses upstairs for ball 1. Michael Peterson is up in the Miami bullpen. Oscar Brazoban, who has not been traded, is up in the Mets bullpen. One guy we did not include in that list, who probably deserves to be there as well, is Alex Rodriguez.
Yes. I put Manny in there too, but like, you know, of things we won't speak of maybe necessarily on the air. One I thought about it as well, you tell me what you think, was like a Jose Altuve.
Yeah, different kind of player.
Different kind of productive. And now I'm going to check Jose Altuve's OPS plus while we're watching baseball. Check tape.
I mean, we're talking about hitters, but it's hard to separate the hitter from the entire player. As Robert was dancing off but does not run, and the toss to first, he's back easily. And, you know, in that regard, Trout is far and away the most complete player of the guys we're talking about.
And I just got the stats on Altuve, 126, which is good, but it's like there are levels to this stuff, and where Trout and Judge have been able to get to, where Pujols is different level.
That's just inside. Alcantara still throwing 99 miles an hour, 100 pitches deep into the game. He's thrown as many as 109 this year, 117 in his career. This might be his last batter. 3-2, nobody out. Robert at first. He's running, and Young lines one the other way for a base hit. Robert on his way to third. He is going to be held up there. The throw comes into second. Young dives in, and he's safe. Jared Young goes the other way for a double, and the Mets have second and third and nobody out.
Jared Young gets a 3-2 sinker in the middle of the plate. He shoots it right in the hole that the shortstop vacates. Robert goes straight first to third since he's already on the move. wonderful base running by Jared Young. You'll be able to maybe see him coming out of the box. He's running hard from the very beginning, picks the ball up as he runs out of the box from first base and is able to stretch a single definitely into a double to get 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out.
And that's going to be all for Sandy Alcantara. So Alcantara goes 6 innings plus, gives up back-to-back hits to start the 7th. And now Michael Peterson will come in and try and bail him out. The Mets have the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Nissan. Shop NissanUSA.com. Jared Young taking this ball the other way.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is Jared would have known that Luis Robert was on the move because the third base coach Leeper wouldn't have put a stop sign on. So he knows the shortstop's going to cover. That hole gets even bigger as the ball's pitched in, and he just stays on it and is able to drive it right here. He's caught it between 2 minds. Kind of goes down into second base in installments, but safe at the end of it.
Michael Peterson took the loss in the opening game of this series. Infield comes in, second and third, nobody out. Marcus Semien the batter. Marcus swings and misses at a first pitch slider, 0-1. Semien dumped a base hit into right in the third, flied out in the 5th. Robert the tying run at third, Young the go-ahead run at second with nobody out. Semien will lay off, and Mack goes down in the dirt to stop that slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, great block on a breaking ball in the dirt, almost in front of the plate. Keeps the lead in order. It's just, you can see as he's doing it, he wants to try to slide over and get the middle of his body as much in front of it as he can and center it and try to kill it right in front of him and deaden it.
Semien takes up and in. 2-1. Peterson on Thursday night came in to pitch the 8th inning in a tie game. Got 2 outs, but then gave up 3 straight hits to Bichette, Benj, and Robert as the Mets took the lead for good in that game. Semien lays off another slider in the dirt. Another block by Mack, and it's 3-1. The Marlins right in the thick of the wild card race in the National League. Game and a half out heading into the trading deadline tomorrow. Three and 1 to Semien. And chops one foul. Michael Peterson, born in the UK. Decided against being a cricket bowler.
Yeah, came here.
Can't run up and throw it.
Try to take over a different sort of wickets.
3-2 to Semien. Polanco on deck. And Marcus takes it high, and the bases are loaded. Well, Peterson walks his first batter, and the Mets have the bases loaded and nobody out. Alcantara threw 102 pitches over 6 innings plus, 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a balk. And now Polanco is trying to shed an 0 for 24 stretch. Will try and get at least the tying run home.
And then Polanco would have been able to see from the last at bat that Peterson wants to go to the breaking ball, try to get him up in the zone, and he's really trying to drive this ball into the right center field gap so that at the worst you get a sac fly, hopefully be able to get Jared Young to third base as well too.
Infield all the way in, and Polanco fouls back a first pitch fastball.
What are you on the infield in here? Yes or no?
Depends on how I feel about my offensive team and the rest of my bullpen.
I think I would have played him back both times here. I would definitely play for the double play in this situation.
The tying run. Yeah. Well, the trend seems to be more toward playing the infield in these spots. I'm sure there's an analytic reason.
That's what I believe
it
is. I think that the numbers spit back out that it's best to just basically come in and try to cut the run down almost every chance you get.
But you open up bigger holes, and You run that risk of giving up 2 runs rather than 1.
And then from a defensive perspective, for me, like if you got no outs, like you're as far away from getting back in your own dugout as you can. Sometimes you just need to get an out.
Polanco able to lay off that changeup, and it's 1-2. Francisco Alvarez, the on-deck batter. Nobody needs a hit in this spot more than Jorge Polanco.
You'd take even a sac fly right now, play catch with the center fielder, and tie it up would be a fine victory.
Tries to hold, and he went around strike 3. So there's the first out of the inning, and Polanco's miseries continue.
Yeah, he gets a breaking ball down. He's just unable to hold his swing up. As you can see it closer than I thought on the replay. That was a 50-50 call. Could have gone either way.
So 1 away, and now Alvarez. And now I would definitely play my infield back. I've got one of the slower runners at the plate and a chance to turn 2, but the Marlins are keeping their infield in.
See, this is to me where, like, when you plug it into your system, how much does it account for, you know, Alvarez having how many double plays you say earlier?
14.
14 double plays.
Up and away for ball 1. Alvarez shot the gap in right center for a double his last time up. I mean, think about the weak pop-up that he hit that Edwards tried to drop in the 3rd inning. That's a base hit in this spot.
2 RBI base knock right now.
Now tips the slider, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, gets a break.
Oh, it's a changeup.
Yeah, it's like that's an interesting sort of low spin on it. It didn't really rotate very many times.
Alvarez able to spit on that changeup, and it's 2-1. These are spots that have troubled Alvarez. Just 2 for 27 in his career with the bases loaded. Robert at 3rd, Young at 2nd, Semien at 1st with 1 out. And Francisco fouls back a fastball, and it's 2-2.
Ooh. That's a tough one. That's a pitch that you'd like to be ending the at-bat on and driving the run in. He'll need to battle now as best he can with 2 strikes, push something forward, hopefully to the outfield.
A.J. Ewing waiting on deck. 2-2 coming. And he struck him out with a fastball. So back-to-back strikeouts for Peterson, and now they're at 2 away.
It's a 4-seam best fastball that he's got at 98 miles an hour, up and away, part of the strike zone. He's able to beat Francisco to the spot. Again, going back to the 2-1 pitch on that fastball more in the middle of the plate. It's a situation, I know it's easy to say from up here in the booth, but you got to find a swing that gets that ball centered into the field of play, hopefully the outfield, and he fouled it off, and then was able to, Peterson's able to go to work on him.
Now Ewing is 0 for 3 today. Bases loaded, 2 out, and he hits one foul outside first. Mets are now 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position in this game. And Ewing bounces another one foul, and quickly it's 0-2. Soto finding something to do.
Yeah, it looked like he bounced around pretty good.
He hopes to come back before this season is over. Peterson with a chance to get through this inning unscathed. Ewing able to lay off. Mack was able to block that slider in the dirt, and it's 1-2. One thing that AJ has been very good at early in his career is laying off potential strikeout pitches that are out of the strike zone. Robert led off the inning with a single to right. Young with the double to left center chasing Alcantara. Semien walked, but Peterson has struck out the next 2. a second step off. He does it again and walk and a run. 1-2 to Ewing. And he grounds one right at the second baseman. And Peterson gets out of the jam. The Mets have the bases loaded, nobody out, and they do not score. 1-0 Marlins after 7. No doubt burning up the phone lines right now, trying to find out what is transpiring. Well, Michael Peterson able to work himself out of a base-loaded jam with a couple of strikeouts and a ground out, and nobody more appreciative than Sandy Alcantara, for whom Peterson saved 2 runs.
And you can hear the entire dugout's buzzing. You got bases loaded, nobody out with a 1-0 lead. He's able to work straight through it with 2 strikeouts and a 4-3. This guy, the Marlins, are ecstatic about it.
This guy is responsible for the only run of the game. Joe Mack, who homered in the 5th inning off Robert Stock. Oscar Brazoban, who has not been traded, gets ahead 0-1. We had seen with Brazoban exchanging hugs in the bullpen earlier. It was a deke.
Yep. The only blemish on Robert Stock's CV today was just a cutter in the middle of the plate, 3-2. You can't blame Stock for meeting him in the zone. It's a 3-2 pitch that Mack was able to really center and get out for a 1-0 lead. It's been all the scoring we've had today.
Your Spectrum high speed hitting. Jared Young's double in the last half inning, the hardest hit ball of the day.
Alvarez has hammered double in right center, and the only run of the game was 3rd place.
Mets have already gotten a 1-2-3 inning from Raleigh and Weaver, and now Brazoban trying to add to the bullpen's success, which has been the best part of this team this year. Mack able to waste away 2 changeups in a row.
Was like off plot, wasn't on time, didn't see it as well, but still able to get a piece of it, even though he was kind of off platform and got fooled by it.
Pops this one up in foul ground. Alvarez watches it sail out of play. Seventh pitch of the at bat, and Mack takes changeup outside, and it's 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Got him with that changeup. One that Mack could not foul off, and that's the first out in the 8th. Check out the road ahead, brought to you by Infinity. Mets are in Cleveland to start their road trip on Tuesday night. They'll go to Pittsburgh for the weekend, and then in Atlanta a week from Monday. 9 games in all on the road trip. Let's get back home to play the Nationals on Friday the 14th. Javier Sanoja is at a soft liner to short and flied out to center.
Waskar's got to land that cutter right there. Is really good feel to be able to have a feel for the changeup to the lefties, and then also be able to have the cutter to the righties.
Past the mound, Semien behind the bag, and Sanoja almost beat that out. Got him by a half a stride for the second out.
Yeah, Marcus knows that he's got to go with it. You could see how close the play is at first, and you could also see Brazoban just kind of let the ball go over his shoulder and let Marcus Semien make the play. Marcus, in an effort to make sure that he catches it first, kind of had to wait back on it. It wasn't the hardest hit ball, but was able to get the ball in the air fast enough to record the second out.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now is Esteury Ruiz. So the Mets bullpen has gone 8 up and 8 down. And Ruiz bluffs the bunt and takes outside. Tyler Zuber is up in the Miami bullpen. Zuber pitched effectively in the Friday night game. Let's see. Robert Stock pitched for the Mets today. That would give them 31 pitchers this year. Still a far cry from last year's 46, of which Tyler Zuber was one. 2-1 to Ruiz. That's of another first-time candidate in their bullpen today, and Bryce Conley. And who knows how many names will be here that we haven't seen yet. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ruiz.
Batter's challenging the strike call.
Ruiz challenges the strike 2 call and turns it into ball 3.
Pitch the ball. Miami has 2 left.
Chris Conroy sounded a little beleaguered. How can you not? You're basically announcing your own mistake. Yeah, that's ball 4, so the base stealer Ruiz is on. That is the first walk of the game given up by Met pitchers today.
Got to think that Ruiz will be looking to run here early on with 2 outs.
26 steals in 29 tries. Started the day tied for second in the National League as Liam Hicks takes a fastball for a strike. Brazoban's been really good at controlling the running game. The opposition is 3 for 7 against him, and he has 2 pickoffs.
Good quick feet. Looks like he's plenty quick enough to the plate as well. He kind of shuts the running game out on his own. See if he gives Alvarez a chance.
Ball and a strike to Hicks, who's 1 for 3 on the day. Single to center, back in the 3rd. Marlins only have 3 hits. The Mets have 4. Big lead for Ruiz. He's running. Hicks fouls it off. Ball and 2 strikes. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by your tri-state area Jeep dealer, I Can. You can't spell American without it. During the Jeep Make This the Summer event, celebrate 250 years of the country that can, with a great deal on the vehicles that always can. One and 2 now to Hicks. And Brazoban with his second throw over, and he nearly got him.
You see this another snap throw for Brazoban, and then Ruiz is able to go to the back corner of the bag and just elude Jared Young's tag before he's able to get in there.
That's a lot challenge.
It's one of those tough plays where, like, you kind of, as a first baseman, you want to kind of let it get as deep as you can, but you got to make sure you catch it so he doesn't get in the scoring position that way.
Ruiz runs and Hicks hits that one just foul. Well, it's also a situation where if you're a left-hand thrower, you've got an advantage in terms of allowing.
Yes, exactly, to let it get even further. One of the new age sort of, I guess you could call it, analytic movements was they have the first baseman push off the bag in a different way than they used to, like when Keith was playing. I think that was in an effort to almost see if you could get him on the hip as opposed to going, I was taught to go for the hand.
Well, you're also shortening the distance of the throw by moving the first baseman a little closer to the pitcher. Ruiz runs again. Alvarez with the throw, and Ruiz gets in safely with his 27th stolen base of the year.
Yeah, Ruiz gets a really pretty good jump. Brazoban didn't go quite with as big of a leg kick as the last time that Ruiz tried to steal it, but he was able to get a good enough jump and throws just a little bit offline, though I don't know how much of a chance Francisco really had to throw him out.
So a runner in scoring position for Hicks. And he just got a piece of that changeup to stay on the at-bat. So Clay Holmes threw his rehab start for Brooklyn today. He went 5 1/3, allowed 2 earned runs, 73 pitches. So whether that was preparatory to rejoining the Mets rotation or a showcase for whoever might want to trade for him. A successful outing for Holmes today.
Yeah, really able to get him stretched out up over 70 pitches.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming to Hicks, who's hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position this year. And he grounds that one foul.
I feel like these Marlins hitters have really, especially here lately, spoiled some really difficult 2-strike pitches to keep the at-bat going. We're able to see it from Joe Mack, Owen Casey.
It's forced Brazoban to throw more pitches than he'd like. This will be his 24th. And he strikes him out with the changeup. Kept going back to it. Brazoban with a couple of strikeouts in the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Mets still down 1-0. Hamburgers sizzling on an open grill night and day, like Chuck Berry said. And there are the vegetables.
There are the vegetables.
Waiting.
Getting in the way.
Tyler Zuber's first pitch to Francisco Lindor is fouled back. Zuber's second appearance in this series Friday night, ending in a 3rd, no runs, 1 hit. He wound up holding that game for the Marlins. Pitched in 1 game for the Mets last year. 22nd appearance for the Marlins this year. And Lindor cracks one down the line. Fair ball going into the corner. And Lindor cruises into second base with a leadoff double. So the Mets, who loaded the bases with nobody out in the 7th, only to come away empty, get a fast start to the 8th.
Yeah, Francisco gets a breaking ball in the middle of the plate. Is able to hook in the corner and keep it fair. Lead off the inning with a double. Really difficult job to keep that ball fair. Able to get it over the first baseman. As you could see it hooking in the corner. That ball so often wants to hook foul, but he's able to really stay on it and get his reward, keep it fair to lead the inning off.
So he now has hit in 23 straight games against the Marlins. Tying run at second, nobody out. Bo Bichette is 0 for 3 today. Now Bo is naturally a right field hitter, but does he have to concentrate even more on going the other way in this spot?
I think getting a good pitch to do it with. That first pitch 0-0 off the plate running in on him is a tougher one to do it with. He's going to be hoping to get something up and out over the plate away from him, and that way it'd be easier to drive it. Now I wouldn't have a problem if Bo wanted to try to take a shot to left field. Only thing, if you miss, you need to miss foul.
He pops it up. Shallow left center. Angling in Conine and Ruiz makes the backhand catch. He had to come a long way because nobody else was going to get there.
Yeah, breaking ball, and Bo just gets off balance, isn't able to drive it. You can see how far the shortstop's having to come from. Lopez from the 5-6 hole, and then Ruiz has to come really slamming in late to be able to get this ball secured for an out. Ended up being a more difficult play than you thought it was going to be off the bat, but unfortunately Bo's unable to get the runner to third base with less than 2 outs, and now need a base hit to score him.
Part of that is the Marlins play their outfield much deeper than most teams.
Yeah, I have noticed that. Like right fielder, he's way back. They do play him deep.
Carson Bench 0 for 2 and a walk today, and he takes a slider for a strike. Bench has 5 hits in this series. Looking to pick up Lindor from second with the tying run. And Carson fouls back a high fastball, and it's 0-2. Mets and Guardians open up the series in Cleveland on Tuesday night. Sean Manaea, who's been pitching really well, goes for the Mets. Joey Cantillo, who has been just terrific for the Guardians. They've had to live on their pitching. The Guardians have really had trouble scoring. Bouncing ball on the right side, and Edwards makes the toss for the second out. Lindor goes over to third. The Guardians have lost 8 of their last 10 to fall to 500 for the first time since the middle of May. They led the division from a good portion of the early season. Jose Ramirez was hurt for a while. He had a broken hamate bone, and he has struggled since coming back. Stephen Kwan has gotten hot. Kwan's not having his best year, but last 19 games hitting .418 for one of the best contact hitters in baseball. Luis Robert gets one at the end of the bat to left field, and Conine is right there to get it. And so the Mets waste the leadoff double by Lindor, and it heads us to the 9th at 1-0. Devin Williams got the save in the opening game of this series, and with an off day tomorrow, he'll come in with Mets down 1-0 in the 9th. Mets have made official the trade of Freddie Peralta to Tampa Bay for 3 players. Aiden Smith, who was a 22-year-old A-ball center fielder. Emilian Pitre, who was a Double-A second baseman. And Gary Gill-Hill, a 21-year-old right-hand pitcher from New Rochelle, who is in A-ball. That's the first of what we expect will be many more trades between now and the trading deadline.
Yeah, and Pitre is my pick to click, even though I don't know anything about him. Middle infielder who hits left-handed.
Of course.
It'll take, well, I don't know if I was a middle infielder, but I did hit left-handed. But like you said, you don't know with these. It's just more, hopefully more good players, because the club will be looking to go for it again in the offseason. You could use trades for acquisitions and the free agent market. And like you said, there's more players who are going to get moved before the deadline finishes up tomorrow.
So Minter and Peralta have gone, and many more are on the table as we go to the 9th inning here with the Mets down 1-0. Kyle Stowers will lead off against Devin Williams. Stowers has struck out twice and popped up today, 0 for 3. And he hits Williams' first pitch in the air to left. Should be easy for Ewing. 1 pitch, 1 out. Mets have gone 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position today.
Yeah, it's like Francisco Alvarez is at bat. Like, I understand, you know, you wanting to kind of drive them all in the 2-1 pitch, but they're just this is a result league, and so when you get a pitch in the middle of the plate, you have to end the at bat and give yourself a chance. I know Bo Bichette, he gets off balance on that one, but he's unable to drive the ball even low the other way to move the runner over. And so as you start stacking up these at bats over and over again of like not getting the right ball to hit or not taking the proper swing in the situation, you're getting shut out through like 8 innings right now, and you've had chances the last 2 innings to mark.
Do you think when a team falls out of a race that players lose the ability to think about situations and think more individually? I
think that you could be inclined to that. Now, at the same time, like, you got a job to do. And when I played, the only thing I thought about, and this is the way I was taught from David Wright and Carlos Delgado and Beltran, was like, that scoreboard is going to tell you exactly what you're supposed to do on offense and defense. And so my at-bat should look like what's the scoreboard asking me to do, and my swing and the pitch selection should show that. Like, I don't want to get on Francisco Alvarez and like single him out. I got no problem with you taking a big swing 2-1 to try to score 2 runs. You've earned the right if you're not going to strike out at the end. But if you know that at 2 strikes you're susceptible, then you have to take a swing that makes contact in that situation at 2-1. Like, I try to work the problem backwards. If I feel like I've got a strikeout in me when the scoreboard says I'm not allowed to strike out, then maybe I take a little bit less of a swing on the way to get there to make sure I hit my sac fly or maybe a base hit.
Now, I don't know if you know this or not. 2-2 to Otto Lopez. But do you think those things are as stressed now as they were when you were playing?
It's tough for me to know that since I'm not in the clubhouse. I know how much they were stressed when I played. I remember as a rookie getting told by Louis Natera, who was our hitting coach, he was in the big leagues at the time. I came up with a runner on second base, and Carlos Delgado came up to him and nobody out, and he goes, "Let's see what you taught the kid," which was he has to get him over to third base. That's the situation. And if he doesn't get him over, he better die trying, basically. And hats off to the Mets as we were coming up, myself and Nick Evans, is like, this is what we did. We played the game. Like, when you got somebody over there, you get them over, and then eventually you'll be the one coming up with a runner on third base with less than 2 outs to drive him in.
Lopez taps one off the leg of Williams, and Semien has no play. Looked like a ball that Devin was going to be able to catch, but it missed his glove and hit his leg, and it's an infield hit for Lopez.
Yeah, Dev right here looks like he's got it, but it almost kind of surprises him a little bit at the end, like he couldn't get his glove around his leg as he was turning. One of those difficult spots, that Williams right here, he wants to really finish his turn so he can get some velocity on the pitch and execution, but that one, he ends up turning so much that he can't quite get the glove back in play to defend it and make the out at first.
Do you think the ball was hit with less pace than he expected?
Sometimes you're exactly right. The ball will get hit and your eyes will see it come at you, and you're like, oh, that's coming really fast, and then all of a sudden you go to grab it and it's not there. It's almost like a changeup, to be honest with you.
So Lopez with just his second hit in this series, and now Edwards takes a strike. Well, I mean, it was hit softly enough that nobody was even concerned about Devin's leg.
Yeah, no thought
just above the knee. There goes Lopez. The throw by Alvarez is a good one, and he's safe. Skipped into Lindor, and that was just enough to allow Lopez to get down for his 23rd stolen base.
We're doing ABS challenge.
The Mets.
Catcher's challenging the ball call.
The Mets are challenging the strike call, the ball call.
You're absolutely right, Gary. That short hop that Francisco almost has to go forward towards the plate to make sure he catches. That takes him away from being able to get the tag in front of the base.
So the call is confirmed. It's a ball, and the Mets are down to one challenge.
One challenge, it feels like.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
So the Marlins with their second stolen base of the day. They came into the day second in the National League in steals. High fastball from Devin gets him ahead on Edwards, 1-2. On to Sports Night comes your way tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll have more on the Freddie Peralta trade and whatever else transpires between now and then. Trading deadline 6 o'clock tomorrow Eastern time. On to Sports Night tonight and every night on SNY. The Mets claimed catcher Sean Ross off waivers from the Pirates to make room on the 40-man. They DFA'd Joey Gerber. So not a trade, but another player
acquisition.
Yep. That's lined into center field, a base hit for Edwards. Lopez being waved home. The throw by Robert hits the mound, and the Marlins tack on a run. So the stolen base proves costly as Edwards drives home the run to make it 2-0. Right before that pitch, Edwards was standing in front of second base just the way we saw Ruiz doing it yesterday, trying to pick up something, whether it's location or pitch type, whether it helped Lopez or helped Edwards or not.
That's been kind of their style a little bit. I don't know. I feel like it's as much maybe to just mess with the pitcher and the opposing team. I don't think they're getting pitches and being able to relay it more than just being a nuisance. But Xavier Edwards, he gets a fastball in the middle of the plate, drives it in there. I thought that Luis Robert would be able to get a little bit more in the throw for a play at the plate.
There's Griffin Conine, who's 0 for 3.
Watching the Marlins third base coach, he's waiting and watching because that's a bullet on the one hop. So he's waiting and waiting, and then he just decides to send him. I really thought he was going to hold him up, but Robert not quite able to get as much on that throw, and it ends up hitting the mound and taking all the steam out of it.
I seem to remember Luis Robert having a better arm when he was with the White Sox. There goes Edwards, and this one's popped up on the infield. Lindor trying to deke Edwards into thinking that it was going to be on the ground, but he did not buy the deke, and Bichette comes over to catch the pop-up over near second base.
Yeah, I tell you what, for Bo, that's really good help for a teammate because Francisco's trying to to trick the stolen base, trying to trick Edwards into thinking that the ball's somewhere else. And so Bo comes over and is able to help out from third base because Francisco stayed at second trying to run the deke on the stolen base attempt by Edwards.
So now 2 out. Owen Casey the batter. Pete Fairbanks is up in the Marlins bullpen getting ready for a save chance in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, here's the third base coach. You can see him, and he's going to get all the way down the line so the runner can see him, and he runs him pretty early, but you can see that Luis Robert gets that ball, I would say, before Otto Lopez has even reached third base.
Edwards runs again. Alvarez's throw into the runner, and he's out. Lindor got the tag on the leg. We'll see if the Marlins challenge the call.
I think he got him.
And they will not challenge. 2-6 on the caught stealing as Lindor got the tag on the leg before Edwards got the hand on the bag. Marlins get an insurance run and lead 2-0. Mets have been shut out 10 times this year. They'll try to avoid one in the bottom of the 9th. Changes in the outfield. Jacob Marcy, who was scratched from the original lineup today with back spasms, comes into play center. Ruiz moves to left. Pete Fairbanks on the pitch, and his first pitch is outside to Jared Young. Fairbanks worked a 1-2-3 inning Friday for his 16th save of the year. Young had double left center his last time up. Mets have had all sorts of chances. They got the first 2 men on in the 3rd. They got the first 2 men on in the 7th. They got a leadoff double in the 8th. 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And now trying to get something started in the 9th against Fairbanks.
And I'll tell you that back in my day, he should be taking this pitch. I would take it no matter where it is.
I think Young will take it because he's that kind of player. Was that dictated from the dugout, or
I would choose to do that? Now, it's a bit more of an understanding, kind of a team philosophy, because you're trying to get the tie and run to the plate. One of the ways I would try to do it is see if he might walk me, and so I would take a strike if I was the leading off the inning with 2 runs.
And would you take 3 and 1 as well?
I probably wouldn't take 3 and 1 necessarily. I'd be looking to hit. But I would usually take a strike all the way until we got basically the tie and run to the plate.
Semien and Polanco to follow after Young. And Jared takes a breaking ball for a strike. And now it's 3-2.
Now you fight. Now you fight.
And Young lays off ball 4, so he came with a 3-1 slider and a 3-2 slider. And Fairbanks walks the leadoff hitter in the 9th. Chelsea Sherrod, Bart Scott, Willie Colon, and Connor Rogers break down all the receiving options for Geno Smith and take a closer look at the overhauled Jets defense as training camp rolls on Jets Nation Inside Camp, presented by Honda, Thursday at 6:30, only on SNY. So the tying run does come to bat. Marcus Semien has singled and walked today, 1 for 2. And Marcus takes first pitch, cutter for a strike, 0-1. Semien with 12 home runs on the season. And he flies one out to center field. Marcy has it measured. And that's the first out. Well, the Mets came into the day dead last in the National League in runs scored.
Man, 23 games, soccer score. I will say from Marcus's at bat right there, he hit that ball really hard. He just took on the biggest part of the field. I think the swing matched the situation. I would just like to see him aim a little bit more towards left field in the pole before he gets to 2 strikes.
There's Polanco, who's 0 for 2 and a walk. He came up with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 7th. That's when the Mets had their biggest chance. Polanco and Alvarez struck out. Ewing grounded out. And Michael Peterson was able to turn the Mets aside. Polanco takes that cutter inside. 1-1. Polanco has 1 home run this year. He's had 106 at bats. Right now he's 0 for his last 25. It's up and away from Fairbanks. 2 balls and a strike. And he spins one in for a strike, and it's 2-2. Fairbanks has given up 8 home runs in 34 innings this year. It's a lot.
Yeah, like what is it? 1 every 4.5 innings.
2-2 coming. And Polanco takes strike 3 call. He's going to challenge the call.
You can't blame him for challenging. I think he's going to lose it.
Call.
Can't take him with you.
No.
9th inning. And he does not get the call overturned, and that's the second out of the inning.
New York Mets have no challenges.
So the Mets are down to their final out, and Francisco Alvarez will be coming up.
Here's a little inside baseball question for you. Would you hold the runner on at first base?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, me neither.
Not with 2 out.
I agree.
It's a huge hole on the right side, and that run means nothing.
And you don't. It's not as if you want the short way because you have a runner at the plate as well either.
You're talking about keeping the force in play at second. Not really necessary with a slow runner at the plate. Slider away for ball 1.
Yeah, these are some of the interesting situations of like defensive alignment that is made more in the kind of modern game. Like I would send him way back, close that hole down.
I'd love to know what the reasoning is for holding him, other than to protect the pitcher's ERA.
Yeah.
This is why we have defensive indifference, and now they're going to move him behind the runner.
There we go.
So maybe they were listening.
They sorted it eventually. Sometimes us old school guys are a little quicker to the punch.
2-0 to Alvarez, looking for a pitch he can drive. And he takes a cutter for a strike, and it's 2-1. If Alvarez can keep it going, A.J. Ewing would be next. Marlins have 9 shutouts so far this year. Fairbanks trying to save it for Sandy Alcantara, who's in line for his 12th win. And Alvarez takes that one up and in, and now it's 3-1. The Marlins, by the way, have both of their challenges remaining while the Mets are out. Double rally cap. Young at first with 2 out, 3-1 to Alvarez. And he flails at a slider, and now it's 3-2. Pete Fairbanks, 106 saves in his career. 1 strike away. And Alvarez takes ball 4, and now the tying runs are on base. So 2 walks in the inning. And now A.J. Ewing will get an opportunity with the tying runs aboard. We'll get a pinch runner. Tyrone Taylor is going to run for Alvarez, carrying the tying run. That is the 7th walk in the last 6 games for Alvarez.
Yeah, you mentioned that. He's seeing the ball really well, and took his shot as well, 3-1, to try to tie it up or hit a double, and then still able to work the walk.
So now Ewing, who's had a rough series, 0 for 4 today, 2 for 16 in the 4 games. But he's got the tying runs aboard. Young at second, Taylor at first, 2 down. And A.J. takes first pitch slider for a strike. Outfield playing very deep. They play deep anyway, but it's a no double situation with the tying runs at first.
Yeah, A.J. looking to elevate right now. He's hit a couple balls on the ground and 1 pop up.
And Ewing smacks one out to left center field. Cutting across is Marcy. He's got it, and the Marlins take 3 out of 4 in the series. Sandy Alcantara goes 6 innings. The Marlins bullpen with 3 scoreless. On the day the Mets traded Freddie Peralta, they get shut out for the 11th time this year. Their final game before the trading deadline as Miami wins it 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets today had chances there in the late innings, got traffic out there, unable to cash anything in, bases loaded, nobody out. Not able to really execute, had some chances to drive some people in, threw the ball beautifully. Robert Stock come out, sets a career high in innings pitched. Threw the ball well enough to win, but when you don't score, like, no chance.
Most important thing that happened today was Robert Stock. His stock went up with 5 innings, allowing just 1 run despite taking the loss. Alcantara gets his 12th win. Mets went 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position as they fall to 19 games under 500. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Deals so right they almost feel wrong, only at your local Hyundai dealer. By Mohegan Sun, beyond your wildest. By Windorama, your home, your team. Upgrade your home today. And by your Tri-State Chevy dealers, visit ChevyOffers.com. Final score this afternoon, the Marlins 2, the Mets nothing. What's left of the Mets will reconvene in Cleveland on Tuesday for the opener of the 9-game road trip. Sean Manaea pitches for the Mets. Coverage at 6, first pitch at 6:40 Tuesday night right here on SNY. Now for Daniel Murphy, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. After this break, it's Mercedes-Benz post-game live with Gary Apple and Todd Zeal.